Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the December meeting of Murrumbidgee Council. It's our last meeting for the year, and I'd like to welcome our staff. And it's our hope that everybody after today is able to have a break and come back refreshed for 2021. This recording and webcasting of this meeting is in the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, and it ensures that this meeting is open to the public. This council meeting is being recorded and live streamed to the Murrumbidgee Council Facebook page, and a recording will also be placed on Council's website following the meeting. I'll ask for any apologies, please.
There's none.
No apologies? Okay, we will move on to the confirmation of minutes of the ordinary council meeting for the 24th of November 2020. Would somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Smith, seconded Councillor Churgwin. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Okay. Before we move on, there was an amendment to those minutes, which came in under the General Manager's monthly report, SC 218, under clause 19.6 of the Murrumbidgee Council Code of Meeting Practice 2020. Amendment is required to the resolution 269/11/20 to correct an administrative error under item 6 of the resolution. This will be on the screen.
What's it down the next page? About the water.
It was item 6, and it was regarding the permanent rural water restrictions for Jerilderie Township, and they will read as follows. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, AEDT, residential 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. daily. In brackets, automated sprinklers or sprinklers on timers set to more than 120 minutes or handheld. And dot point 2, commercial, including council, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. for automated sprinklers, and 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. daily for handheld or sprinklers on timers set to no more than 120 minutes. Australian Eastern Standard Time, AEST, residential 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. daily, automated sprinklers or sprinklers with timers set to no more than 120 minutes or handheld. And point 2, commercial, including council, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. daily, automated sprinklers only, and 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. daily, sprinklers with timers set to no more than 120 minutes or handheld. Residents with automated sprinkler systems to be permitted to water outside the advertised times. However, they will be required to register their intent with council. So I ask that somebody like to move that amendment. Move Councillor Black, seconded Councillor Smith. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. I remind you all of your pecuniary interest declarations. We have one here. Are there any further declarations? If not, thank you. I will move to the mayoral report. It's been a really busy year. It's been a really challenging year, and as I alluded to, I think council has been capably led by management and by the people that work for us in helping to ensure our well health and safekeeping. And I think as a community, as a council community, we should be extremely grateful for that. We have had many funding opportunities that have seen very visible evidence come into our communities with buildings, with town revitalisation projects, and our regular funding opportunities. And I think council is very lucky to have been able to avail ourselves of these opportunities. I have acknowledged, and I am very cognizant of the fact that our staff have been trying to avail ourselves of these opportunities and do the work required to get these opportunities up and on the go, as well as doing their regular jobs. So we are a lean machine here in a small rural council, So my thanks to the staff who have obviously gone over and above to ensure that Murrumbidgee Council has as many opportunities as are possible for them, and our communities are very grateful for that also. Our main areas of health, I guess, that have been impacted with COVID have been our community services area. We have been very mindful of keeping our elderly safe, and as we have spoken about in our workshop prior to council today, as soon as we are able, that will be brought to the forefront and thoroughly explored, hopefully early in the new year. I alluded to how important it was to develop our regional network through RAMJO predominantly, which gives us advocacy across the really important things that council takes care of and responsibility for that aren't actually our core business, whether they be health, education, law enforcement and water. So there are 6 strategic pillars at RAMJO, and each one of these are being advocated for regularly. It also includes energy. And if we did not have this joint organisation working collectively in this space, of which we are part of the collection, we would be really struggling to get any purchase at all. The same can be applied to also with our tourism and economic development. One of the really worthwhile projects that's happened this year is the development of the Murrumbidgee Trails Initiative. It's a very early starting phase into working as a region. We are better and we're stronger if we're partnering with other people because we are only small and we have limited resources. So our foray into working collectively in that area has been very beneficial also. I mentioned also we have seen some staff come and some staff go. To those that have left, we wish them well. To those that are joining our team, we look forward to a long and happy association. I did mention that some of our staff and our elected members have had a challenging year personally, and council always, as the family we are, offers our support to those who need us at this time. We've had a really great year agriculturally. The harvest has been a just reward, I think, for the resilience and optimism of our agricultural sector. And if they're being relatively successful, the rest of the community is being relatively successful. So that has been a real bonus to us here, especially considering the drought years that preceded that. Our town revitalisation projects are so exciting, and it's been a great opportunity for not only our elected members but our communities to come on board. And I think people are really talking about how it's just given that lift, which was really important. So it speaks very clearly and closely to the word revitalisation. It's been really good. I mentioned here our thanks to all of our staff. Thanks to the General Manager, John Scarce, and his management team. As a team, we will get there. And it's really important that in this small council that we have each other's backs and we are able to work across the departments rather than just in isolation. So we're lucky to have the skill set we do have at the table. So our thanks to the staff, and we look forward to working with you again in 2021. My thanks also to our councillors. You are our community voice and you play a really vital part in forming council as to what we need to be doing moving forward. And I said I'm particularly grateful for Councillor Black's guidance and input during some seriously challenging situations and times. So thanks, Councillor Black. And in a year that has seen us severely limited in our face-to-face interaction, and especially at the tables of decision-making and whatever. We're very thankful to our elected representatives that have been in our corner, doing their best to advocate for us for the best outcomes. So I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and look forward to working with you all again in 2021. There's just a list of some meetings I attended in the last couple of weeks. Are there any questions, please? If not, somebody like to move? Move Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Kirby. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 1, please, John.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Just what seems to be number one for most of the year has been the COVID-19 and our action plan and changes that we've done moving forward. As I say, major changes were the 2 square metre rule and limiting outdoor gatherings, lifting that from 50 to 100, and the removal of the public health order requirement, workplaces to offer working from home where practicable. I look for new public health orders every time, particularly around the outdoor gatherings, for the requests of possible Australia Day celebrations. They're not there. They're not there yet. They haven't made any exemptions or anything else like that. They haven't pulled them out to separate them at all. So it's still limited to that. For the outdoor gatherings, 100 at this point in time. That could change as they have done for other things in the past, like the 11th of November. War memorial functions. So we're expecting something. So I'll keep looking at those and update where we can and keep the Australia Day committees abreast. The regional, the Ramjo Digital Subcommittee, we're working on a mobile black spot application, the 5A program, which closes on 2021. It doesn't have a lot of money attached to it. It's actually 5A because 5 was undersubscribed, so the A of the 5A is what was left over from their subscriptions. They changed a little bit. The reason why 5 was undersubscribed is they had quite a long some strategic. Yeah, they had some things that made it very hard for people to apply for. So they've made some changes and they've opened it up to particularly some of the small players that can fill some gaps. They're very open to some collaborative ways of, for want of a better word, putting in systems that are roaming so that more than one carrier can attach to a tower for when people drive through. There's nothing worse than having a Telstra phone and seeing beautiful towers built there, but it's a Vodafone or it's an Optus, so you don't get any signal. So we've been, as Digital Subcommittee, we've been talking to Telstra, 2 smaller players, and we've got meetings set up with Optus to see what or how they can assist our area. So we've put some things out there. The applications close. I think there had to be some expressions of interest in early January. The applications closed in February, so we're working with those players to see what can happen. One player was there. He had one of the smaller ones. He had an idea that would be able to facilitate the roaming capability and things like that, similar to what New Zealand has got. So we'll see what comes out, and that was going to be a pilot. We put our hand up for somewhere in the Ramjo region to be a pilot, but even if it's not, we also said to them that we'll do a letter of support for wherever they go in Australia, primarily because if they can prove it there, then it will only ever benefit the mobile phone coverage we've got over here. The Murray-Darling Association is looking to change their name from the Murray-Darling Association to the Murray-Darling Local Government Association. I've included as part of the attachments a frequently asked questions or whatever it was for councillors to read and understand why it just come about for some reason that the name's already been applied for, it's already been accepted, it's already sitting there without, they say the knowledge without the MDA. It was just after a conversation with the ministers, they went ahead and they developed that. So now they're looking, it needs to be a majority vote, so 75% plus one person to make that change. Otherwise, it'll stay at the Murray-Darling Association. There's going to be a special meeting, I think, scheduled for February to be able to do this name change. So I'll put a recommendation forward there that we I don't believe that it'd be a good idea, mainly because I think it should be more than just local government that deals with it. We've got enough local government associations dealing in the space. That was just my point of view to put forward with there. Council workshop, just a follow-up. We'll follow up with information next week and then early in January for topics. I've got a few of them there at the moment, but just it'll be held at Macua on the 5th to 7th of April. And then I've got a couple of policies there, which...
February, not April.
February, sorry, not April. Then we've got a couple of policies there, the time and lieu and the motor vehicle policy, which we'll talk about with any questions. They've been through a couple of times. Council has seen them. They've gone to the consultative committee and there was no issues there last week. And just a few other little rundowns of what everybody else is doing. The other thing that I didn't put in here is that Alan Searle, our HR IR specialist, final day officially is the 1st of January. He's off on leave at the moment and not returning, his choice. So that's that. Is there any questions on this? Noticing that we've got a disclosure of pecuniary interest, so before we actually put it to vote, Councillor Bryce will walk out, but if there's any questions before then, please. No questions? Councillor Bryce will leave. So the recommendation that Murray-Darling Association delegate member, mayor or general manager be instructed to vote no to the proposed name change of the Murray-Darling Association, and 2, the draft time in lieu and banked RDO policy and the draft motor vehicle policy be adopted by council.
Okay. Those in favour, please say...
I'll move for a second.
Oh, somebody move. Move Councillor Curfew. Seconded Councillor Black. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Steve, could you get paid, please? Okay, we'll move on to item 2, please. The audited financial statements, please, Vicky.
Council, we expected Brad Bowen, our auditor, to make a presentation to you today. He will be dialing in at 30. 1:30.
Okay. Do we want to jump on to item 3 before then, Councillor?
Yep, let's move to item 3, please, Vicky. Oh, not Vicky, please, Kelly.
Madam Mayor, recommendation the opportunity to engage Australian Visitor Radio to recommend transmitting be declined and Australian Visitor Radio to be requested to collect their equipment transmitted from.
Somebody like to move Councillor Gilbert. Councillor Black. Before I put it, Kelly, is there anything else you'd like to add? No? If not, I will put the recommendation which states that the opportunity to engage Australian Visitor Radio to recommence transmitting be declined and the Australian Visitor Radio be requested to collect their equipment transmitter from Council. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 4, please. Councillor Churgwin, you can speak to these Australia Day Committee meeting minutes.
It was a really good meeting. John came down and talked through
everything that we can and can't do, and we'll move forward on the proviso it can still go ahead, knowing that at any point in time things change. We will change the plans.
Okay, were there any questions of Councillor Cherwin?
That will be how much people.
100 people at this stage. Yep.
No one.
Yeah, the committee was a very good meeting. Everybody was engaged. Everybody understood the protocols council put in place, and I think they were adopted quite easily and ratified. So it was quite good. Thank you, Councillor Cherwin.
Somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Cherwin, seconded Councillor Brown. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item number 5, please. Vicky.
So it's just a presentation of our monthly cash investments at the end of November 2020. We'll take it.
Are there any questions of Vicky regarding this report? If not, somebody like to move, please. Move Councillor Brown, seconded Councillor Smith. The council note the monthly cash and investment report containing the bank balances and schedule of investments as at the 30th of November 2020. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item 6, please.
Vicky.
It's just a summary of taken during the month of November. Substantial work on that was the annual financial statement preparation and submission.
Vicky, the internal auditors were in last week for the procurement thing. Anything?
Not at this stage. We'd had actually uploaded quite a deal of information to them prior to their being on site, and we've since sourced additional information which they're going through now. They will do a substantial checking. They actually access to our database so that they forth. They are anticipating a final report prior to the next to be presented to the Darren meeting in February.
Okay. Are there any further questions of Vicky? Councillor Cherwin.
I just wanted to ask Vicky about your role-based energy discussion. Have you got any updates that you think you can enlighten us with, or are we still in the process of getting?
That's a never-ending saga, really.
Right.
So yeah, probably what we can say, we spoke with the consultants we were given. A little bit of technical difficulties. We only get to spoke to one of them, but we're at a stage, as we know, with the tender being let going forward, was to get contracts and everything from them. So we sort of ended it with the consultants we're using and said, once I get the full contract from them to be able to do that evaluation, so we're all talking on the same playing field and things like that. So that I had a meeting with that the contractor last Friday and just said, right, you've given me a blank form, please fill it out as what your tender document stated. We'll get that evaluated from then and we can move forward. So that's what, when that comes to me, we'll forward that off to the guys that we had that conversation with on the energy. And then the other part of that, as part of it's the part of the Ramjo energy subcommittee group that all 11 of us are doing some sort of energy audit. And yeah, when Vicky gets a moment of time and her team, they'll be able to pull out some of that data to be able to send across so we can start that going. So right from the go, we were doing our energy audit, but the additional work was consult with the tender, but also look at some sort of geothermal solution to see if that's actually a viable solution for our region. that the area I picked for them to do is this area here, because we've got the chamber, we've got the hall, we've got everything together, and if we can prove it here, then we can certainly be able to prove it on some of the other things. At the end of the day, it's only a study. Any capital outlay will be at our cost for any of these stuff that comes out of the study anyway, so we just need to make sure it's all feasible before we go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, Vicky.
Any further questions of Vicky, please? If not, would somebody like to move? Move Councillor Gilbert, seconded Councillor Perky. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item 7, please.
Madam Mayor and councillors, this report highlights the various activities that's generally conducted across our section for the month, apart from the typical stuff that we deal with, including inspections and development inquiries. I have to say, most of my work has been associated with the streets and shared spaces grant, trying to deliver that within the required time frame. Just to give councillors an update in terms of how that grant's going and the works are going. The pillars are supposed to be installed by mid-January. Pavement works are commencing directly after Christmas. The mural, that concept is being worked through by 3 artists. And I guess a lot of time has been spent on developing the stories for the various storyboards and working out the various images go on them and obtaining the necessary copyright. Does anyone have any questions?
Councillor Gilbert.
Just on the comment in the lake.
Yeah.
What's going out to consultants?
Yeah, okay, so that Polyambury Lake project stalled some time ago because the community committee appointed a person who prepares environmental assessments on their behalf, and the state government agency rejected some of the recommendations that they came up with. So in other words, we were never, or that group were never going to be able to advance that project based on the current position of the department. So the only way that we can get some understanding about whether or not that proposal is definitely a showstopper or whether or not there is an opportunity to advance it is by getting some other independent assessments. So because as part of our rezoning proposal, our new LEP, we have to provide information to the department on biodiversity in particular, as well as a whole range of things such as Aboriginal heritage and flooding. So because they're providing, we are engaging consultants to provide that information for us anyway, and so we've asked them to particularly look at that site to give us some feedback about is there any option for us to move forward with that site. So in other words, we'll be able to know whether we can move forward or basically abandon the idea.
Okay. Any further questions? If not, would somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Churgman, that the information contained in this report be noted. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item 8, please.
On the confidence last month, the committee meeting attended and the draft support officer information on where the 3 revitalisation projects are up to. If anyone has any questions.
Anybody have any questions of Sue? I've just got a comment to make which speaks directly to this part of our council's business. I attended the launch of the Life on the Sandhills art exhibition in Miranda last week, and I put a note on each of your desks here this morning which Kerry Weymouth provided for me to let me inform you all of just what was involved. It was a really part of what Kerry has done to attain her Masters in Therapeutic Art, and it's a real credit to her involvement in it, and it sits proudly in the library at Narrandera. So if you're ever travelling through Narrandera, please drop in and have a look at it. Are there any further questions of Sue? If not, would somebody like to move the recommendation, please? Moved Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Smith, that the information contained in the Manager of Corporate and Community Services monthly report be noted. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item number 9, please.
Vicky,
Kelly.
I'm sorry. Vicky, is there any way that you can call Brad? See if he's coming on, that's all. Sorry, Kelly.
Kelly,
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, only a couple of highlights from the past 2 months. That we launched the Murrumbidgee Trails Visitor Guide that we did in Malthouse, which was a collaboration of all councils coming together, and really happy with how the Facebook and digital marketing is coming along with that as well. We also had the photography shoot for Jerilderie on last Friday, and that was a massive congratulations to everyone involved, the community and businesses, and I'm quite excited to see the photos. I've only seen the back of the camera on some of them, but really excited to see those when they come back. And I think it'll be a really great asset for the town. Also had 2 registrations take up for the Destination Riverina Murray Destination Inspiration Events series next year. So the registrations are open until the end of January, and hopefully we're going to see more across all 3 towns to take up those. And just a final little bit of an update on Business Murrumbidgee, that the Darlington Point interim board notified me that they'd like to be called the Darlington Point Business Connect. So they're working on getting all the organisation around actually having that registered as a business name organised, and they'll get me updated in January for when their next meeting's coming along.
Thank you, Kelly. Are there any questions of Kelly, please?
I'll just take a point. Kelly, there was a leaflet, a booklet insert in the SRN this week, Southern River News, and I don't know what it was called, I can't remember, but they refer to our council as Jerilderie Council instead of Murrumbidgee. So perhaps it's just a cut and paste thing, but.
Councillor Churgwin.
Kelly, I was just wondering, the grants there, Assistance Regional Airports Program, down to,
I got started on those ones, which I think was when Will and Johan were both in the office and you were gung-ho going for it, and with both of them away, they're quite similar things. So this is another.
Okay, thanks, Kelly. Well, if there's no further questions of Kelly, would somebody like to move this report, please? Move Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Churgwin, that the information contained in the Manager of Economic and Tourism Development monthly report be noted. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, back to item 2.
Hi, Brad.
Hello, how are you all?
We're very well, thanks, Brad. Thanks for joining us. You've got the floor.
Oh, thanks everyone. Well, it's really pleasing to be here to share with you that we've successfully lodged the audited financial statements of council with the Office of Local Government inside the statutory deadline. So in a COVID setting, the lodgement deadline was extended out till the end of November, and council received its unqualified or clean audit opinions on the 26th of November, and then dutifully lodged them with the OLG after that. And so the main call-outs, really pleasing to be done on time, fantastic to get clean audit opinions. And considering the overlay of the land through the period of July, August, September, when the audit activity takes place and COVID and various restrictions in place, want to acknowledge the efforts and support we received from Council's finance team. It was very much a different and dynamic audit approach than what we would have had historically. So quite a step change through to the execution of it this year. But really pleasing to be in this position for Murrumbidgee. That's substantially earlier than what we were in the prior year. The Auditor General signed out 2 audit opinions for Council. So one's a commodity-based, very vanilla, true and fair type opinion, and the other one that Council receives is the report on the conduct of the audit. And it's attached and available to your readers via your financial statements. And it's got some free-form text in there. And if you would like, I can probably just step you through a couple of the key highlights from the conduct report that are noteworthy from Council's perspective. Council again this year returned a surplus from your operating activities, which is really positive. A lot of rural councils find it a challenge after escalating expenses in a rate capped environment to keep a result as a surplus, but we were 4.7 million was our surplus result for the 2020 year. That was driven by 2 main revenue items, being rates and annual charges, and our rates largely moved by the rate peg of around 2.7%. And then we again received quite a healthy balance of government grants contributions. Some of that's the ongoing funds from the merger and amalgamation, Stronger Communities funding, but something in the order of 14.9 million was received for the year. Council is also in a position where you've got very little external debt as it currently stands. So we're cash positive from operations. We spend really our money on infrastructure renewal, and a large part of that is the road network that you'd be familiar with. Council's got quite an expansive road network to maintain. And as it currently stands, you do have some debt, but it's less than $1 million, and it's expected to be fully repaid in the 2021 year. And so from that perspective, the focus then shifts to cash and investments for Council. And for your cash and investments balance, this is a topic that's received quite a bit of coverage in the media of recent times. Council had in the order of $27 million at the 30th of June. And then it's understanding that where that money is allocated. You've got these things called external restrictions. So that's mainly sewer and water funds. They need to be spent for the purpose for which they're raised. And that restriction is around 18 million. Then you've got internal restrictions. Council have parked and tagged monies for things like plant replacement reserves, employee leave entitlements, capital works programs not yet delivered, which is around 9 million, very consistent with the prior year. And that cascades down to what is effectively unrestricted funds held, which for Council is still positive. That's the key test, and that's where Central Coast had some challenges. That number come down to being a negative. But for Murrumbidgee Council, that balance is sitting at around 550,000. So the challenge for the General Manager and the various exec team is the long-term financial plan to continue to add stability and growth to the reserves of Council and build out that unrestricted cash level. But it's sitting relatively consistent with the prior year and on the positive side of the ledger, and they're the 2 key important tests at this stage. The rest of the conduct report's dedicated to going through some T-Corp ratios, which were back in the day orientated around fit for the future. Council's performance is very consistent with its performance in its prior years. The graphs show 3 years worth of performance. And the other encouraging metric is that Council performs very consistently with other rural councils in its construct. So the ratios generally show a benchmark or a bar. What you need to understand is that bar is regularly set as one size fits all for all 120 odd councils in New South Wales, not necessarily tailored to your circumstances. So whilst on the graphic there is the benchmark red bar identified, I would caution you that what holds more weight is what was our performance in the recent years, which way is it trending, and then how do we compare with other councils of a similar nature. Encouragingly there, we're holding our own. And so what we need to do is navigate to the finish line of the merger amalgamation efforts, which are still ongoing, the harmonisation of accounting policies and having council operating as one single entity. And then it's the next phase after that. So the current challenge for management and yourselves as the councillors is executing day-to-day operations, finishing off the tail end of the amalgamation harmonisation project, and then dealing with any other one-off items that come up, such as, you know, floods, fires, or one-off funding things. So the challenge is being pulled in a range of different directions, but continuing to keep enough of it with forward momentum. That's my version of council's current position as it stands from an external audit perspective. We noted no instances of legislative non-compliance, which is really encouraging, and that concluded with us achieving a signed audit opinion inside the statutory deadline. But happy to take any questions from anyone. But the process, whilst much different, was really encouraging to get to the finish line on.
Thank you, Brad. Are there any questions of Brad or any comments? Brad, I've just got a comment. I'd just like to thank you for your very succinct commentary to us. It's in terms that we mere mortals can understand. And what's even more encouraging is the fact that we appear to be in a good position. That's very encouraging. And like you, I think we need to recognise the really hard yards that our staff have worked under, and with some great guidance and support from the likes of you, we are managing to get where we need to get. So thank you very much for your reporting. Thank you very much for your support. And we, like you, thank greatly our finance team that have been able to get us to where we need to go. I like to hear words like compliant and on time. It actually gives us a good feeling about where we're at. So thank you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Merry
No
Christmas,
worries.
everyone.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, well, the recommendation would read that the audited financial statements encompassing the general purpose financial statements, special purpose financial statements and special schedules for the year ended 30th of June 2020 be adopted. Would somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Brown, seconded Councillor Smith. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. We'll move to item 10, please.
It's just a monthly report of things we've been working on.
Okay. Are there any questions for Steve, please, regarding his report?
So, Steve, I see a lot of the safety fences are down from around the hall at Darlington Point, and there's somebody on a scissor lift working with has the roof been done? Is it?
Yeah, they've done the works on through the street. Yeah, the works through the roof structure area. They're just doing some works.
So it's safe now? Is there any part that's not safe anymore?
I don't think so.
We can allow people to use it if we choose to. We are doing some work inside.
There's still things to inside. We're looking at some painting and walls.
Yep.
Those will be close to next year.
Have you spoken to the
A little while ago, I was looking for
they wouldn't be expecting him to come back before June? Would that give you enough time? Right.
They're already next year.
I suggest that you give them a call.
Yeah.
They'd be curious to know. You're the wrong person.
Okay. Any further questions of Steve?
On the report, it says Darlington Golf Course project. Can you shed some light on what's happening with it?
The irrigation system's been installed. Everything's been installed. Just a few
Is there a plan of action when they start building the golf course?
I haven't spoken about that yet.
Steve, can you give us an update, please, on the office refurbishment at Darlington Point, where that's at?
Yeah, so just waiting on some cabling in Western Front, finished off main office area, and then early work with the guys for next year. First job we finish off that rest of the southern section of the building. Mayor's office was. And early next year.
Okay. Councillor Smith, did you have a question? No? Wrong agenda item, sorry. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, thanks. Steve, under weed action plan, we've got an issue with, we've just discovered that it happened 12 months ago, and with the summer rain, it's spreading all over the place. So, do I bring it up now, or?
Yeah, the guys are continually just controlling those areas and they know if there's any other areas, just please let us know them.
All right, well, I'll have to chat to you after. Because it's our weeds officer, because we're responsible for the roads, but people are going in to the channels, and it's now on the channels as well. And we've been slashing roads with it active, so obviously no one's aware of what's going on. If we get summer rain, then we could have a major problem. So it would be an issue between us and CICL. Can I talk to Steve about that? I've got some roads where it's been reported.
Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Thank you.
We'll leave that with you, Councillor Brown, and perhaps, Steve, when we come back in February, we might have a bit of action or something to report on regarding how we've, addressed it even further. Okay. All right, thank you. Any further questions of Steve? If not, I'll read the recommendation that the information contained in the Asset Manager monthly report be noted. Somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Curfew, seconded Councillor Bryce. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item number 11, please.
Just the typical standard monthly report of applications that become delegated authority. Information for council.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, Councillor Smith.
With the subdivision, is that just a resolution of that early project?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any further questions? If not, somebody like to move, please. Move Councillor Churkin, seconded Councillor Black. That the recommendation read the information contained in the development applications approved under delegation November 2020 be noted. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item number 12, please. Councillor Churgwin.
With the sign, there's also some behind car park. Kelly's one of the pulling into irrigation folks has been chipping it, but I'm not sure if he's got it all yet or not.
That's car weed.
Well, he said to me, spiny bird.
Spiny bit.
Whereabouts was it?
In the car park behind Kelly's.
Right.
In the middle of town.
Okay. So we'll just keep our eyes open and be vigilant. Obviously, it's got a bit of a go on, so we will. Anything that we need probably to make council or anybody else aware of, I'm sure Steve wouldn't mind us contacting him so he can manage that. Okay. Any further questions, please? If not, I'll move the recommendation, which will read the information contained in the biosecurity sale yards truck wash and stock control report be noted. Somebody move, please. Move Councillor Brown, seconded Councillor Smith. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you.
Go on, William. Will, are you able to jump up and give a verbal report on what's happening? Yeah, that happens after confidential.
I will.
We're asking your update on Young Street. We got that for the great southern electrical shows they adjust their service layout. How it works after.
So the reason why I went forward to the engineers for the change to adjustment is because of the levy bank, and that was the main reason, because it was put in after the last plan.
Part of the new levy bank. Yeah, we're going to do an assessment.
Is there any point that will be signed off the plan? Is there a time frame where we maybe have enough information to make an assessment to sell this off the plan? Is there any date?
Yeah. Engineer.
I'd say April, but yeah. The Ben Cubbon, when's it due to start?
Last of speaking overseas.
Are there any further questions of Will, or where you've been away, Will, but there's nothing else you think we need to be made aware of?
I'm just currently doing wire breaks. But
I've just got one point. I don't know who to speak to about this, but if that hole gets any deeper, turning off the Kidman Way into the Sturt Highway, whole trucks are going to disappear into it. It's actually really dangerous, and I know this is the RMS's responsibility, but they're obviously ignoring us. So I think we probably need just to put a dump of gravel in it or something. Will.
I'll get that, or we do normally do that, and I'll get the stuff that again.
I am aware they have probably done something to it, but given the traffic and what's going on, it needs some attention. Please, Sue or Steve.
It's been done already with a load of gravel.
That must have happened yesterday, did it? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Because on Tuesday it was still a gaping crater.
So you ask, Councillor McRae, and we deliver.
Read my mind. That's scary. Yeah. Councillor Brown.
Just one point. The Greenbank Road, I think you're referring to, just been great. Getting Christmas. December. Most of the fires, those who've been here for a while, are going to get burned out. It's going way back in August, this came back as a fire report. That Wilson Road right through the Greenbank Road, which is our western boundary, and it's been done 29 years in a row. This is the first year in 30 years someone forgot, or we just didn't get around to it. And if we'd have been burnt out, yeah, serious. So I don't know what we do, but we can't tell the staff what to do. But the priority, if it comes up as a priority from the bushfire
Management Committee. Yeah.
Then surely those recommendations must have some sort of priority.
Well, I think what we can do, Councillor Brown, is we can thank the staff for having attended to it now, and perhaps next year in our bushfire preparedness work, we revisit it and get that plan to come straight out then. Steve?
It was issues because of the rain that the table drains are quite wet. Difficult machinery.
Yeah. Okay. But thank you, Steve, and your concerns are duly noted, Councillor Brown, and what we will do is we will be vigilant about how we move forward. But we do thank the staff for having gotten to it now. Yep.
Yeah, but I think that plan, and we're going to talk about it in August, so it's actually ready for the end of October.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
Any further questions of Will? No? Okay.
I'm confident.
Now, would somebody like to move that we move out of ordinary council and move into confidence, please? Somebody move. Move Councillor Smith, seconded Councillor Curfew. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. We stop recording. Is that happening? Okay, we might move to item number 13, which is the sale of council land. And the recommendation will read that council advises the applicant they will sell the land as detailed within the report at an independent market valuation price, subject to all rezoning, planning and development costs and arrangements being borne by the applicant, with the sale process being delegated to the General Manager. Further, and as required, documents associated with the sale be executed under the common seal of council. Somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Curfew, seconded Councillor Wells. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you.
Late item.
We have a late item. I don't have the late item.
Yeah.
Okay, we have an item without notice, and it refers to the draft plan of management for Elliott Park. And the recommendation will read, the draft plan of management for Elliott Park, including the recategorisation of part of lot 7017DP 1019596 being Crown Reserve number 9983 be adopted. Somebody like to move the recommendation, please? Move Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Smith. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Meeting is closed.